Alexa, stop. That's our last timer for our last stretch. Put our gloves on. Right here I have the vessel that we're going to let it rise in. I've found that when my wife makes these loaves in this bowl, it is just not big enough for the rise. Sometimes it'll overflow and make a big mess. So, to spare my wife frustration with the mess and myself with having to clean up that mess, I am going to put it in this giant container, which does happen to fit in my oven. So it'll have a nice controlled environment. All right, last stretch and fold. We start at the top. Start at the top. Get it off. Okay. Ooh. Stretch. Oh, it's breaking. Okay. And fold. Ooh. All right, quarter turn. That was one. Holy cow. This is very sticky. Again, yours might not end up like mine because we're doing an experiment. Okay. And I just saw a quote from a famous statistician. If you want to see, what was it? If you want to see how something changes, you have to actually change it. So that's what we're doing in our experiment. Okay, that's two. Ooh. Okay. Oop. Ooh. Three. It's getting really sticky. Ooh. Okay. Four. Wow. Oh, dang, Gina. All right. That gluten is what makes it stretchy and sticky, and that's what's going to keep the gas bubbles and form the crumb. Hopefully, it will be a good crumb, but you never can tell. All right, so next. One. Whew. Whew. Two. Oh. Wow. Three. And final. Hold. Okay. All right. There you go. Now, I'm gonna close the trash. Move the lid out of the way. I did wash this previously. So we're gonna go ahead and just get the bulk of it out of here so that we can go ahead and put it in. Jeez Louise. I've got about a slice worth of dough all caked on my hands. Maybe this will do it. Like the swamp monster. Jeez Louise. Okay. Come here, you. All right. There it goes. On with you. I say something about clingy girlfriends, but I don't have a girlfriend, so just got a wife who loves me. Whew. And I imagine that there might be, since I'm publishing these publicly, might be some sourdough expert out there cringing person who first figured out sourdough was a thing might be rolling around in their grave at this sticky mess. But again, I'm not concerned because it's all just data in the search for the truth. What really works? What really doesn't? Let's see. All right. I've got to go to work. So hopefully it doesn't rise too much. This is a bucket from Home Depot, which you can get with the lid. It was $10. But you may find that you're okay with the bowls that you have. You don't need extra large, gigantic super mondo. But here we are. Okay. Let's see if we can get any more off of this. Throw it in here. Should I coat my hands in oil? I don't know. Just to prevent the sticking. It's better. Oh, yeah. Okay. Get in there. Ooh, that was too much. Okay. Now, from a material science standpoint, this is really interesting how this stuff forms. So the gluten, from what I've heard, isn't actually in the wheat. It's only developed after you start, once you've ground up the wheat, but maybe I'm off. It's watching a video from Alberta, so you never know. It was a University of Alberta, but you never can tell. Okay. So, what to do. Do I use more flour? But then that might mess up how much we're using. Dust my hands with flour. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of dough that I'm getting rid of. Okay. Anyway, there you go. Take this one off. See you later.